So this was a game changer. An old greenhouse was unexpectedly gifted to me by one of my neighbors up the road who have been incredibly kind and welcoming since I've been here. They've lived on this creek for a long time, owned the only little store anywhere within a half hour from here, and have a lot of history with this place. This ended up taking my tiny nursery and planned for the small garden out back and made it something much bigger. Going to be setting up over in the pasture here. This is kind of the spot I've got picked out. It's got some pretty decent sun. This is where we're going to start, and I'm just going to get this frame all laid out today and then probably start tackling getting it all together tomorrow. After watching the shaded garden day in and day out since I've got things planted back there, it became pretty obvious pretty quick that it wasn't getting enough sun to take care of some of these warmer weather crops like my tomatoes and peppers. So this greenhouse was the perfect thing to get this season going and make sure I get a good yield out of those warmer weather plants. Not only is this providing them a lot of protection, but I can control the environment a lot more closely. This also ended up freeing up a lot of space in the shaded garden that I can use for succession planting so I can have more continuous harvest and get more out of it. I've got the frame all laid out now, so I have a pretty good idea of how much space I'm going to need. So this is pretty much where it's going to go. It's a little bit crooked right now. It's actually going to swing out a bit this way, but trying to kind of line it up with the drive-in over here, which is a little bit of a windy road. I want to make sure that I've got a little bit of a straight border running down the road, so when I put the actual frame together, it's somewhat even with the angle of the road. So I'm laying some logs down around the perimeter I got marked out. Hi, Bubba. Excuse me. Watch out. Move it. We got our logs pretty well set out, so I'm just gonna kind of align this greenhouse frame to run a little bit more evenly. It's kind of cocked off to the side right now, so I'll get that moved over. It's kind of ironic moving out here. One huge reason that I left the city was to get away from people. Not only did I find myself a bit overstimulated and on edge in that sort of environment, I just didn't really fit well with other people. Kind of found myself unable to enjoy time around others and just always wished I was alone back home with the pup. So coming out here was definitely a big change that I had been looking forward to, and I found it. The ironic part is the people out here are a lot more pleasant to be around. Everybody up here has been so kind and has just been a complete 180 compared to the people that I had to deal with back in the city. It's not only good to have found my peace and isolation I was looking for, but when I do have to be around people, I found some good ones. So I still got about a week and a half for my deadline on this greenhouse. So I think we're making some pretty good progress. I'm waiting for the next kind of freeze to get over with and hope we don't run into too many more. I still got to level out some of these, particularly that one on the far side. It's a little bit too high, so I got to pound it down a little bit more. But the big thing this morning is I'm going to try and finish getting all these wire panels that are sitting over here secured to the sides of it, and then I'll start tackling that little roof area. All right, we're getting down to the end of getting this fencing up around the frame here. I've just got a couple more details I got to do for that, and that is I got to put 2 more posts in here to kind of make our doorway frame, and then I just got to figure out gates for this one and that one. I do have some more wire fencing if I just want to throw something up temporarily, but want to figure out a more permanent solution there. And then it's on to figuring out the top part of this frame here that's missing and getting something set up to throw a little fan inside of it to get some good airflow that moves through the structure. And then probably another kind of vent up there once we get the plastic up and everything, which should be the last step. So just got a bit more to do. I'm going to go find some posts that are going to work for this. I got a bunch stacked up over there I can use, so getting back to it. Well, we started stringing up the roof for the greenhouse, just trying to get some support up with some of these lines. I've got this one gap here left to finish. And then I also went ahead and put this little wood frame in place to kind of help put a door in on the back here. And then I may do something similar on the front. I don't know if I'll get quite as fancy, but we'll have to see. So I just got to finish getting this part strung up and maybe close some of these other gaps in. And then I can start moving some stuff in this weekend because it looks like the weather's going to kind of ease up a bit. It's been very cold and rainy lately, so it's about time for some good weather. It's on to the plastic. I've got these little plastic clips here that just snap right onto the bars like this to hold the plastic in place. Moving out here has always been a big dream of mine, as I kind of mentioned in the very first video that went up on this channel. I spent a lot of years living vicariously through survival shows, outdoor adventures other people had, and just watching people build creative, sustainable survival systems. Living in the wilderness where you're the only person you can depend on has always been something that definitely interests me. I for sure doubted myself at times and my ability to kind of carry through with that dream. After a while of kind of realizing I had a better chance of surviving out here than the place I was in mentally and physically back in the city, I have no doubt that this was the best decision for me at this point. Well, we got a good deal of plastic on the greenhouse yesterday, but I've got another big sheet here that's going to go over the peak of the roof a bit, so it's got full coverage to where it's not going to leak through. It was hitting over 100 degrees yesterday inside this tent, and it was only about 80 outside. Which means that during the summer, because we're not even there yet, this thing is going to just cook, which means I need some shade cloth. So I've got some of that ordered up. That'll be coming within a few days to kind of get the top and some of the sides covered up a bit so we can reduce some of that. ADHD comes with two big motivators to get your brain to do something. One is novelty and the other is urgency. And I think that's why I've enjoyed my time out here so much. It meets those needs every single day, every single second. There's always something that needs to be done. And if there isn't something that needs to be done, there's definitely something new I want to do. The only limit is just what my mind can come up with. And I find that so amazing and just freeing. To have my mind focused on what I need to do rather than the things that can go wrong around me is just a huge burden off of my shoulders. I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to be out here and find that peace. So Mother Nature wasted no time stress testing our greenhouse wrapping. As you can see, we've got some water pooling in some of these roof sections here, which I kind of expected, and is the whole reason we started to put these ropes up top to kind of support it. The whole thing held up pretty nicely. As I get water in my face. But I don't want to continue to put this kind of stress on the plastic up here. So I've been going through this morning and starting to tighten up some of these ropes and make sure it's got some nice secure support underneath it so it's not completely collapsing in or stretching out the plastic over time. So we'll go ahead and do that. I might have to throw a few more ropes up or adjust these a little bit better as far as the spacing goes, but I've already tightened quite a few up. So I'm gonna get that adjusted, and then the next thing will be to clean some of this up and get our irrigation system set up, and then run some electric in here. Look at this lazy dog not doing any work. She just gets to lay around all day and do nothing. Well, that's not true. You keep the critters away. Huh. You good baby. Oh, I got so much I need to do, but we're getting close here. I'm just kind of keep jumping all over the place as far as priorities go. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about this. But I've got these tubs filled up with water to try and help keep some of the heat in at night. It still gets pretty chilly during the evening. So the idea is these water tubs soak in all the heat during the day and then release it slowly over the night. It's kind of maintain some of the warmer temperatures in here. So right now I'm not super comfortable getting the peppers all moved in here with the way that the weather gets. Still a little bit chilly at night, and some days it drops down pretty good when we're just getting rain. So tomatoes, I think, are going to be pretty safe in here. So I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on getting those set up. I've got these little holes dug out for where they're going. This kind of section I'm leaving open just to kind of maybe set up seedlings, and then if some other things pop up, if there's some herbs and stuff like that I want to keep in here, stuff like that. So I'm trying to keep this little section open a little bit. I'm going to get little critters like this guy out of here so he doesn't eat everything. But yeah, I'm going to get these holes dug because that'll also kind of help me figure out where I want to throw my irrigation at. I've got the water hooked up to this line now. So once I've kind of got my ground prepped, I'll know exactly where I need to run the lines. And then I can start splicing this into the smaller drip lines to make sure everybody's got some good water going to it. The other thing I did over here is this little flap here. I've got this large vent to make sure that I've got some air moving through. That way it sucks it in the cooler side and then spits it out the higher side through that fan over there. So the idea is I can keep this open during the hotter days, and then I can just go ahead and flap that down whenever it needs to get sealed up for the cooler nights and stuff like that. So we've got a functioning greenhouse at this point. So I'll take you a little tour of the outside of it for now. We put the shade cloth up along this top part of the roof because that afternoon sun comes up over here. So it just beats down super hard over here. I may actually end up putting some more shade cloth over on the other side because it still has been reaching up over 100 degrees in here during the day. So we'd want to make sure our plants are in some ideal temperatures without killing too much sun. We got our door over here on the back side, put a little latch on it. We've got our fan set up over here. And then as I've been digging out the holes inside, I've been kind of using rocks to weigh down some of the plastic on the outside. Still got a little bit of adjustment and tightening up to do on some of this outside plastic, as you can see, but I got a bunch of these little greenhouse clips to secure down the plastic all the way around. And then we kind of adjusted our outline with our logs temporarily, because this is where our herb bed is going to go, and we'll kind of make this a more permanent structure. Right now, these are just kind of markers to mark out where everything's going to kind of sit. Well, thanks for sticking with me through part one of this greenhouse project and my rambling. I'll be getting part two up soon, where we'll get to my favorite part of this whole thing, which is getting our plants in the ground. Tomatoes are going to be up first on that list, as well as our peppers. I'll be sharing that and more as we get the place up and running now that spring is here.